This episode is brought to you by Triggered 22 LLC, a veteran-owned apparel company. By purchasing a t-shirt, hat, or hoodie from Triggered 22, you're not only supporting a small business, but you're bringing awareness to veteran PTSD and suicide. Please help save the lives of those who fought for our freedoms. Visit triggered22.com now and place your order. Let's help those suffering from invisible wounds.
Welcome to the American Grown Podcast, hosted by Austin Sullivan. The American Grown Podcast will focus on people from different walks of life and their journey to where they are now. Now, turn up your volume and settle in for a great episode.
Hi, I'm Austin Sullivan. This is the American Grown Podcast, recorded inside the Colortech Creative Solutions studios. Today, we have Nick Stickler, Realtor at Coldwell Banker Realty. Nick, welcome to episode 40 of the American Grown Podcast.
Thank you for having me, Austin. Glad to be here.
Episode 40, man. No pressure. Like 40 is a bit, you know what I mean? 40 is a big number. You had filled out the form about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
So we're finally here, and one of the questions that really caught my eye, you had mentioned the Blue-Eyed Six, and your maybe great, maybe some connection there.
Yeah, I don't know how many greats there are in it, but it's a couple greats. It was actually one of my great uncles down the line. The last name used to be spelled Stichler, which is, like a more German spelling. After that event, my great-grandfather changed it, CK, to kind of Americanize it and kind of get away from the stigma of what happened with the Blue-Eyed Six.
Blue-Eyed Six, yeah. And for those that don't know, the Blue-Eyed Six, it was a group of six men,
Mm-hmm.
all coincidentally had blue eyes. Crazy, right? They were arrested and indicted on first-degree murder charges here in Lebanon County, which for listeners that might not be familiar with Lebanon County, real small community, I would say, pretty rural, for the most part. And this is back in like 1879. And one of your family members back then, like you mentioned, and then in like the 1900s, then changed it to CK.
Yeah, because they were actually in the process of, we have a family business, and so I think they were, and just in general, to kind of get away from, that whole fiasco, they were like, yeah, let's maybe change that up a little bit.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing, yeah.
Distance ourselves a little bit from that. Yeah, so, they did that, and then 1947, my great-grandfather started general contracting business. My dad and I still kind of run today. Yeah. So, we don't do a whole lot anymore. Before I got into real estate, I was trying to do it, expand it with more landscaping and stuff like that. But then, once I got into real estate, it was kind of like I didn't have time for everything. Yeah. In the long run, landscaping is not really an old man's game. So right. I think in the future that'll serve me better. Real estate versus landscaping, a little easier on the back and the joints.
Yeah, exactly. Well, everyone's got lawns. Everyone has property that needs to be upkeep done to it.
So, we still, the Lebanon Plaza, like Kohl's, TJ Maxx, we maintain that. That's the one client I did keep.
Nice client.
It's enough to pay the bills and keep me busy when I'm not doing real estate. So, we kept that. But unfortunately, I had to let all the other clients go. And, it's funny you say that because I still have people calling me like, hey, you still doing landscaping? I'm like, no, but I've got some friends that I've made, in the business. And
right.
Usually just refer those out. And,
Nick, let's start at the beginning. I like to get background on everybody. Born and raised, where'd you go to school? Let's get all that background.
Okay, yeah. So born in Lebanon, lived here my whole life. Went to school at Ebenezer to start, and then moved to South Lebanon in 4th grade. And we were there for probably 8 years or so, and then moved over into Creekside. Lived in different areas around the county, but always in the county. Miranda and I, my wife, bought our first house back over in South Lebanon. Lived there for 6 years. And now we are back over in Ebenezer, like
Really?
a mile from where I
Yeah,
first lived.
that's
So
great. That's
all
wild.
came full
Full
circle.
circle. Yeah.
Yeah.
After high school, you went to Penn State Berks.
Yes. Yeah. And that was not the first school I went to. I actually went to Alvernia to begin with.
Okay.
Went for nursing. So I did 3 semesters there, and then started doing some shadowing and stuff. My mom's a nurse.
Okay. At Good Sam or at Hershey Med? Or?
She worked just about every hospital, I
Oh,
would
nice.
say. In
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah. She bounced around a little bit, but yeah, she got me some time shadowing, and one of the things I was doing was observing. It's called a PICC line. It's kind of like an IV, only it's like they put it into an artery.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So there's a lot more blood, and I had a fear of blood.
No
Yeah,
way.
yeah. Odd career choice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I saw one of those be put in, and it kind of just, shot out, and got a little lightheaded, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna step out, grab some air, and
Right.
yeah, that kind of made me second guess
Yeah.
that career choice. But
That
yeah,
put a stop to that, huh?
because when I was in high school, I actually got a job as a CNA at Cornwall Manor.
Okay. Yeah.
So, other bodily fluids didn't bother me so much, but blood is where
Yeah.
I drew the line. And I went home, kind of thought about it. I was like, yeah, this is probably not the greatest career field for me.
I can't do that. I can't do that stuff either. I can't. Yeah, and I think like you mentioned, a PICC line. I think really is something like, if I remember, it's like a real thin and it's real long. Because my wife Courtney, her friend Megan, is a nurse and all that. But yeah, I could just picture that. I'd be like, get me a bed because I'm about to faint here.
Yeah. Blood and needles don't mix well with me.
So
But
yeah. So you were at Alvernia. How do you then transfer over to Penn State Berks?
yeah. So actually, after that, went to Hack for a semester. Just did a couple gen eds, try to figure out where I want to go from here, and then I was actually thinking about teaching for a little bit, and so yeah, I took some gen eds, took a couple introductory courses for education. I was like, I don't really know if I like this either. Like, I like the education, like sharing knowledge and trying to mold minds a little bit.
Right.
But I was like, I'm not too sure about that either. And then I was just looking online at like local courses because, I was part of the family business by then. I want to be able to still keep working with that and try to get a degree because that's kind of what we're told is, go get a degree and
It's definitely pushed a little bit more. I don't know what it is now, but yeah, I mean, could you graduate at Cedar Crest?
09.
09.
Yeah.
I graduated 2011, and it was definitely like, I remember the counselors it was always a 4-year degree or go to college.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much the 2-year or like just go into the workforce.
Trade schools,
stuff
like that. Yeah.
I mean, they would talk about it, but it always seemed like they were pushing the 4-year.
Yeah, try to, get a 4-year degree or, go to trade school.
Yeah.
Kind of like an afterthought. But yeah, so then I found Penn State Berks, had a kinesiology degree. So went there, finished that. I was joking with my mom. I was like, yeah, you might as well just hang that on your wall because, I didn't really end up doing anything with it. And I worked
I think that's how a lot of kids are. It's just like,
it's like, hey, this is kind of for you. But yeah, so I had an internship with the Y while I was there. I worked there for 2 years or so. Early mornings, I was there at 4 a.m. You had to open up.
Oh God.
That was rough, but I think it actually was a good preparation for parenthood because it showed me how little sleep I needed to kind of get by. And once you're up in the morning, you get moving. It's not too bad. Yeah, I did that for a while, and then actually left there in like November. COVID hit. So I was like, well, because they closed down all the gyms for a while.
Yeah, right.
I was like, well, I guess I'm not going back there. And real estate was always something that really interested me. I just, had that thought process where like, all right, I get the degree,
And there's no
And then,
blood in real estate.
no, there's
No,
not.
right?
Well, there is. I've actually I bumped my head, and in Lebanon here, there's a lot of low basement
Okay, right.
clearances. So,
Yeah.
there's a little
There's a
blood.
little blood. Not as much.
Not as much.
Yeah.
And I'm all right with my own blood. So
Okay.
it's other people's blood that
Yeah.
freaks me out. I had all this time during COVID to really explore what I wanted to do moving forward. And I said, well, I've always been interested in real estate. And so I just took that time to study. You have to take a state and a national test. So I took those, passed. Then you have to take the actual exam to become a licensed real estate agent. Yeah, took that, and here we are.
Yeah, so what's going on with the real estate market? Because I know, I feel like from COVID on, even last year, I've had friends and even people here at Colortech, they make an offer on a house, $5,000 more, 10 grand more, and somebody comes in 15 grand on top of that, and it sells like that.
Yep.
Houses are flying.
Yeah, it is getting better. It's, maybe instead of like 15, 20 offers in a weekend, maybe you're getting your 3 or 4. And some houses, as you go up higher price ranges, they're starting to sit for a couple weeks,
Yeah.
a week or two. And it's
Right.
like,
Yeah, before it was like a couple days.
yeah.
Not
It's
even.
like if something sat for, 2 weeks, it's like, oh, what's wrong with
What's
this
wrong with
house?
it?
Like,
Yeah.
is the foundation crumbling or,
Right.
we're getting there. One of the, key metrics that we like to look at to see the, kind of health of the market is, it's called or month's inventory, which pretty much just says, how many houses are being sold versus how many are on the market. So we're right a little bit over a month's worth of inventory right now, which
Yeah.
is great because when I first got into the business, it was like 2 weeks worth of inventory. Wow. Yeah, so we're getting there. Not quite as fast as everyone would like. Realtors don't like it either, like it's tough, and when you're writing, half a dozen or 10 offers for the same client, it's like, it starts to get frustrating, and rightfully so. I mean, that nobody it really enjoys this market, but we're getting there. I think, interest rates have a little bit to do with that. And people are kind of getting adjusted to seeing those higher interest rates now.
Yeah, they're definitely higher for sure.
There was, over the winter, we were really thinking like, oh, this market's shifting. Like we're going to go back to, or get closer to a buyer's market. And, early spring hit and it was like, oh, no, just kidding.
Yeah, right.
But it's better than it was. I'll say that. But we still got some work to do.
How did you get with Coldwell Banker Realty?
I spoke with a couple different agents that I know, one of them being Yvonne Kuhn, and she's been a family friend. Like, I grew up with the Kuhns. My mom and her were very good friends. Like I'm close in age with Adam. My sister's close in age with Alex, and then my little brother, Isaac, is close in age with Amelia. So it just kind of worked. Spent a lot of time in the summers at Valley Beach. I trusted her to give me. When it comes to recruiting, some people are like, "Oh yeah, just come with us. Like we're the best."
Right. They just sell it.
But her, I really trusted her word, and I felt that she would teach me properly. And she's one who, after now I'm in the business for 3 years, she really does. Yvonne does everything by the book. Having the last name Stickler,
Yeah.
that really vibes with me.
Yeah.
So yeah. You see some people that like to cut corners, and she's not one of them.
Well, that's awesome.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Shout out to
really
Yvonne Kuhn and the whole
shout out
family.
to Yvonne. Yeah, all the Kuhns.
That's awesome. Okay, so that's how you got in with Coldwell Banker. I was wondering if it was a friend or family member or what the connection was.
When I went in to interview them, I really hit it off with our broker, John Baumberger. He's a really nice guy, laid back, and knows his stuff. So that helps too.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So if someone's looking for, first-time home buyers looking for a house, what are some steps they should take, or what should they do?
Okay,
Yeah.
well, first of all, get pre-approved, speak with a lender, see what you can afford, and, if you can afford anything. I've had some people come to me with not so great credit, So, we've got to work on that first. Like to see in like the mid 600s at least. Some people come to me with like 500 or, 400. And it's like, yeah, this might be a year or so. Let's work on some of that first. And then, you really have to set your expectations. Some people come in thinking, they're going to get a 4-bedroom house, an acre of land, and,
right,
and all of that. And especially right now, it's tough. If you want that, you might be buying a house that needs some serious love. Definitely set your expectations. It could take a while. Could take a couple months. Could take a year. But those are the two main things: is have realistic expectations, and first of all, get a pre-approval. Speak with some lenders.
And then, of course, call.
And then, of
Nick
course,
Stickler.
call me. Yeah,
right, of course.
right,
Yeah,
right.
exactly. and get a good realtor like yourself.
Yeah.
It's a big step for a lot of families, for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's part of the American dream.
Exactly.
Owning that house and a piece of land. So, and if you don't go with me, that's fine. But go with someone that you trust.
Right. Or
Yvonne.
Go with the Coons,
Yeah. Tell her I sent you. Maybe she'll give me a little cut.
You had mentioned Miranda and getting married. So you've been married now, is it 3 years?
3 years, yep.
Yeah. And then you have a son.
Henry, yeah. So Miranda and I were together 7 years before we got married.
Okay.
So almost 10 years. Yeah, I don't really even know where to begin with her. I mean, she's great. Brought me a beautiful baby boy into this world. She's really a driving force behind what I do. We met when she was at LaSalle down in Philly. She was, 4.0 student, captain of the cheerleading team. It's like, she's pretty impressive. I'm not quite sure what I did to land her, but I've learned not to question it.
Mm-hmm. Just roll with it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just like, hey, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Henry's 11 months? Or?
Yep. He's coming up on a year.
Yeah.
Actually just started planning the birthday party. Got Sweet Sadie making some cupcakes.
Sweet Sadie's custom cakes. You got to get it. Oh,
killer queen of cakes, man.
Yeah. And you've had them before?
Yeah. Actually,
phenomenal.
She came in clutch because when Henry was first born, we were having a little bit of lactose difficulty. So Miranda cut out dairy for a while, and I hit up Sadie. I was like, hey, can you do something with, some lactose-free cupcakes? She's like, oh, yeah, I got you. Yeah, Miranda loved them.
Sadie's awesome. Very cool, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was a no-brainer to go back to her for the first birthday.
Yeah. I want to talk about both of us being first-time dads.
Okay.
Because I have Parker. She's my baby girl. And what would you say was one of the most challenging, because I know for us, when they're like, okay, you leave the hospital, that was so nerve-wracking. Just getting her in the car seat and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I was afraid they weren't going to even let us leave because, we didn't even know how to put the car seat on properly.
Yeah.
All the straps and stuff.
I hate those car seat straps.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, especially if you don't know, again, first-time dads, I'm trying to figure it out. How do you loosen it? How do you tighten it? It took me forever to figure out there's that metal button.
Yeah, that you push down and you pull or you on the straps to give you a little slack. But yeah, just in general, I felt like I couldn't hold him too tight or I was gonna break him.
Him.
Because he came out, he was 6 pounds 7 ounces, so he was a little small. The most challenging thing, probably the sleep. That was rough for a while. We're getting better.
Mm-hmm.
Still not really sleeping through the night though.
No.
No. But I've learned to be a much deeper sleeper. So Miranda is the one who gets up with him a lot to feed and everything.
Yeah.
And I know that if I'm getting woken up in the middle of the night, that it's been a rough night, and I'm just like,
yeah, it's time for Dad to step in. I know what you mean, because especially for us, it was those first couple of weeks, and even to a month or two. But then, knock on wood, we got lucky because Parker, she sleeps. Just last night, normally we were going to bed at 7, put her to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, last night was 8 o'clock, which is, to me, it's a little bit late. I like her closer to 7, but she slept till 6 this morning.
bastard.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, dude. Yeah. But and again, see, every baby's different. Every parenting's different.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, we're just
Well,
real fortunate. Yeah.
and that was one thing we really had a little difficulty with was, learning not to compare yourself to other people because everybody's, experience is a little different. And she had joined a bunch of like mom groups on Facebook and stuff. And I was like, why don't you just get rid of that? Like, we're on our own journey here.
Yes.
We need to learn what's going to work for us, what's not going to work, and how to adjust to make it work. So yeah, that was another thing. But yeah, it was like, I think for probably like the first month or two, like we were afraid to even leave the house with him.
Yeah.
Like to put him in the car. And like, I know when we were driving home from the hospital, I was like, speed limit, like not over, staying away from every other car. I was like, she rode in the back with him. I was like, yeah.
You're like braking, 10 car lengths away from the car in front of you.
Yeah.
I mean, I had that same thing. Bringing him home from the hospital, it's like you have the president in the car or something. You're driving so safe and everything. Not that you normally don't, but normally it's like, okay, you just go about it second nature.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, if I hurt myself in the car, that's one thing.
Yeah.
It's my own fault. But, when you've got that precious cargo.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. What would you say for all the future dads has been like the most rewarding thing?
I mean, all of it. It's, just watching them grow. We were just actually last night looking through like old videos and like pictures and stuff that we have, because that's like all my phone is right now. It's
right. Yeah.
Baby pictures.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like every little milestone, like, when they start to roll over, when they start, to babble, to crawl.
Yes.
You start and he'll take like a step or two now and then we'll fall down. He's got mama and dada, his dog.
You can say like dog or
yeah. So yeah, just seeing like every little thing he does makes me feel just such joy. When we first had him, I think one of the first messages I sent was to my mom. I was like, I am so sorry for everything I did from like the ages of like 12 to 18. I was so ungrateful, and just that love you feel like as soon as he comes out and into this world is unlike anything else.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And like we had mentioned, being squeamish around other people's blood, I was so nervous for the birth because I'm not good with that. I couldn't believe myself. I was, you've been through it, but you're right there with your wife. It's different. Like your adrenaline's kicking. You're just there to support her. Because I remember at one point the nurses are like, Dad, do you need to sit down? Like, here's a chair. And I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, they thought, I guess, that I was going to like get pale or something. But I was surprised how well I did because, it's an intense moment. But
oh yeah, I did need some apple juice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think they brought me some water, but yeah.
Yeah, and some ice chips. I was like,
isn't it wild though? So when the moment's about to happen, how all the nurses and the doctors are coming.
Oh yeah,
they come in like a pit crew.
Yeah, and like, so he had a little fluid in his lungs, but they hit that button, and it's like this whole team comes running in. Miranda couldn't see what was going on after he came out. And they took him over to like the side bed.
I know, yep.
And they were just trying to have like that suction to get the fluid out of his lungs. She's like looking at me all concerned. I'm like, he's okay, because you go through all that work, to begin with. Conceiving isn't always as easy as health class in high school made it seem like.
Right, or the
you
movies.
Do this, you will get pregnant.
Yeah, it could take time, and and it makes those early weeks or months so worth it. Like when you mentioned, when they say dada, mama, crawling, smiling,
Oh, yeah. And, I might be a little biased, but like he's got the best smile. He doesn't, for as much as he doesn't sleep, he's the happiest kid. Always, babbling and smiling and laughing. So it's like, at least that lets us know we're doing something right.
Have you started watching anything with Henry? Like for us, we'll put on Paw Patrol sometime.
Okay. Yeah.
And I know every parenting's different. Some are like no TV.
Yeah, Miss Rachel.
Yes, we started watching that a little bit too.
Awesome. And she's
yeah.
And apparently she's really good for speech development. and hitting some of those milestones. And actually, do you know the story behind Miss Rachel? So,
No, we just started maybe a week or two ago watching her, but no,
okay.
tell me, yeah.
So yeah, the reason she started those videos was because I believe it was her son, was delayed with his speech. So she made those to help his development. Yeah, now she has like millions of views.
I didn't know that.
And yeah, that's kind of my go-to. Like if because I spend a day or two each week with him because we're both working full time. So, and Miranda's able to, she's a little hybrid. So she's home some days, goes in the other days.
Yeah.
So we try to make it work right now. But when I'm at home and I'm trying to get some work done, I'll throw on an episode of Miss Rachel, and I'm like, okay, I'm good for an hour.
Yeah.
Like, I'll keep an eye on him.
Right,
I'm in the
of
same
course,
room,
yeah.
but like that
Yeah.
allows me to send some emails and do some paperwork and whatnot, make some phone calls. But yeah, she's a savior. And,
Yeah.
she deserves every dollar she's making for.
Shout
for
out to
those
Miss Rachel,
videos.
yeah. Because again, you don't know going into it. Like one of the things we knew off the bat was, and again, as she gets older, but like that Coco Melon, we don't watch that. We don't mess with those kind of shows.
Yeah, no, we
Yeah.
stayed away from that too because apparently that it has like such short clips.
Yep, the frame rate or
that
something.
yeah. So yeah, but we do like some Paw Patrol. Every now and then, he might get part of an episode of South Park.
Yeah.
When mom's not home.
Yeah.
But I think
Culture.
it's just right. But yeah, I think it's all the colors and stuff that he's really drawn to,
Yeah.
cartoons and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. Is there a toy or anything that he really likes? Is there something like for Parker, she likes, we got him down here at Rite Aid of all things. Because, now that you have a kid, you go to Target with a trip and they're with you. It's kind of like, okay, at least for us, we're like, we got to get you a toy.
Yeah.
So I'm grabbing like two things off the shelf, showing her. And I'm like, oh, Mom, we got to get both. And Courtney's like, no, you got to pick one. So I'm like I'm that dad. But no, we went down to Rite Aid. I forget. I was getting something. And there was a pack of like 5 plastic balls. And then inside was like different things, like the one shook, like a maraca and things like that. And she loves rolling them. And
So actually, of all things, because we've got like a bin of toys, and it is actually, there's stacking cups. And that is what he loves to build towers.
That's a good
and then
one.
knock them over.
Okay.
Yeah. Like $3 stacking cups.
I'll have to look into that. Never
But-
thought about that.
Yeah. But aside from that, he's got like a little monkey where if you tap the head, it'll roll across the floor. He likes to hit that and chase it
Chase after
around. And then all the dog toys.
Really?
We have like a bin for our dog that has all the toys in it. He loves to pull those out.
Yeah, and play with them?
Yeah, so turns out we didn't need any toys.
Right. You could have just had the dog toy. So what breed of dog?
So he is boxer, part boxer. Not sure what the dad was, but the mom was boxer.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
What's his name?
His name's Toby.
Toby. Okay.
Yeah. We got him from Davis Dog Farms. They're
That
local.
sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're like a rescue around here.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and we had another dog and kind of did the same thing. But yeah, he's great. Like
I was gonna ask, how is he with Henry? Yeah.
yeah, because we're still working on soft petting.
Yeah.
So,
we call it I.
Yeah,
But
yeah. But yeah, sometimes it can get a little rough. Ears have been pulled a couple times.
Right.
Yeah, a handful of fur.
Yeah.
But he takes it.
Yeah.
He's a very good
That's
boy.
awesome. Yeah, that's good because that was one of our worries bringing Parker home too. Is we're kind of like, I guess, the crazy cat people. We started with one that we adopted. It was abandoned, and then all of a sudden we have 2 more. So now we have 3 cats. Love them, they're great. But we're worried because the one we adopted, the oldest cat, Ray, she can be very particular. And, having a young infant on the floor, especially when they're little, and, you have to lay them on their back. And, you have like the toys up and everything. But we're just worried that she was going to act out or hiss or something. Mm-hmm. But surprisingly, they're all 3 are great with her. So I'm glad that Toby's so good with Henry because, they're family too.
Right.
I would hate to have to try to, make a decision there or something if it didn't work out.
Yeah, and that was like, a discussion that we had. I was like, you know, if he can't act right, he's gonna have to go. But luckily,
Yeah.
you know, and since like day one, it's almost like they have like that instinct where it's
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah.
because they could sense her or sense him when he was inside Miranda. So it's like, you know, I think that kind of plays into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been lucky.
Yeah, I agree. They sense it. The animals, you know, I think they can sense, because like, you know, Courtney now being pregnant with Finn, our baby boy here, we're excited for that. The one cat, Ray, again, which is the oldest, seems to be way more affectionate to her while she's pregnant. So it's like she knows something's going on. Yeah. Like with Parker, again, Ray would come up and lay on Courtney and let her pet her. And normally she's kind of a typical cat, standoffish, you know. She'll come into the room, be like, hey, what are you guys doing? Oh, that's right, I don't really care. And then she just walks out, you know. She's a typical cat, but she definitely seems more affectionate. What would you say motivates you day in and day out to be the best version of yourself?
Oh, those two, Miranda and Henry, by far. I thought I was highly motivated before, but once he came into this world, it was like took it to another level, especially without the full night's rest and everything. Like you really, not to say I was lazy before, but it has definitely inspired me to make sure I'm using my time for the best purposes. And you know, you miss hanging out with friends and stuff as much, but all that I'm not going to regret any time that I spend with them, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I would agree, because I feel like I kind of went through something similar, because you're like, oh man, you can't just go to the bar with your guys, or you can't just be like, hey, I'm going on a golf trip, or you know, we're going out for drinks or something. I can't go whatever it is, play video games for 3 hours, you know. So it's the next step in life. You realize, okay, like I can still do that, but now like you have to plan it out a little, because you have bigger responsibilities.
You know, it's not that I can't. It's more so that like I don't want to. Like I want to, you know, especially these first like couple years that are really precious.
Well, like you said earlier, to see all the changes and you know, all the different milestones, and how rewarding that is, you know.
And you know, we haven't even Miranda and I haven't had like a weekend away or anything since he's been born. We've just been on the grind, and we said, like, you know, once he actually takes these first real steps, we're getting out of here. We're taking a long weekend at least to get away. And you know, and when we're lucky that we have a bunch of grandparents that are more than willing to step in.
That is nice when you have that support system behind you, for sure. So now, what would you say you're most passionate about?
I mean, I kind of probably along the same lines. You know, family is very important to me. Being a good dad, being a good real estate agent, being successful in both of those, life and work. I'd like to say I'm a passionate sports fan as well, but you know, my sports teams have been letting me down pretty much recently. Big Philly fan for the most part, and then some outlier of the Vikings, Minnesota Vikings for football.
That is an outlier for sure.
Yeah.
Not the Eagles?
No.
Not the Steelers?
No, definitely not the Steelers.
Okay.
Eagles might be like, if they're on, I'll probably cheer for them as well.
Yeah.
Unless they're playing the Vikings, because we've developed quite a rivalry.
Yeah.
It gets a little ugly. But really, family and work.
The items that you brought, tell us a little bit about them.
Okay. Yeah. So this first one is, I believe, our first family portrait of the three of us.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Miranda, she set that up, and we went to a little sunflower field and kind of like, all right, tell me where to go and let's get it done. But yeah, that was, you can see how tiny he was. That was probably a couple weeks after he was born.
Yeah. You can tell you're a proud dad. You're smiling.
Yeah. So yeah, that is, that's pretty dear to me. And then this was my first Father's Day gift.
What is this?
I like to collect Pokemon cards in my spare time, and so she was like, "Well, I'll."
This is so cool! Wow, when you pulled it out, I'm like, "What does he have? Like a Charizard holograph or something?" This is really cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Nick Stickler, Henry Super Dada. Oh, dude, that is awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Also, she got me a pair of what is it? The Air Monarchs.
Yeah.
Dad
the
shoes.
dad shoes.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
so,
you're official.
Yeah.
I don't even have those yet.
That lawn doesn't stand a chance, man.
Get the grass stains on those shoes.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
That's a rite of passage. Yeah, I got to step my game up.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, real quick, since you mentioned Pokemon cards, do you sell those? Like, because I know it's still very popular. I mean,
yeah. No, so actually, when we were moving, I came across a bunch of my old ones, and I was like, oh man, and like the nostalgic starts, coming back, and I, so I got a binder, and I was like, oh, I've almost got some complete sets here. I was like, so I started, trying to do a lot of shopping on eBay, try to find some decent deals because they're pretty expensive.
Oh yeah, yeah. The first generation too, I'd imagine.
Those are so and especially like you said, the one I don't have from the first set is the Charizard because I refuse to pay hundreds of dollars for
it's ridiculous
for that card.
And then if you can get it minted or get it graded, it probably goes up to like thousands of dollars depending on the grade.
Yeah. So I might just settle for like some old beat up one. So,
just to have it for your collection.
Yeah, right. Just to complete the set.
That's interesting. I didn't know. I mean, I was big into that. I feel like every kid was in the 90s. I had my Game Boy Color, playing that and everything. Yeah. And even early 2000s.
Figure I need a hobby, so that's something I can do at home.
And like you said, who knows? Right? Who knows? Maybe one day it'll have, as it keeps getting popular and the value goes up. I think on those things.
Yeah, at least recently. Yeah,
definitely. For sure. Oh yeah, trading cards in general.
Yeah, that's my nerdy pleasure there.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. So now, how can our listeners connect with you and follow along on your journey?
So I'm on Facebook. Nick Stickler is my personal page, and then I have a business page as well, Nick Stickler Realtor at Coldwell Banker. Best way to get in touch with me though is probably by phone, either call or text, 717-679-3392. But yeah, any of those, I'll definitely be getting back to you. Cell phone's probably the quickest.
Perfect. Before we close out, is there anything else you'd like the listeners to know?
No, I think you did a pretty good job. You do your research there, sir.
Did I do all right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's only episode 40, so it's not like I've done a couple of these.
Yeah. Well, hey, and congratulations on a year of doing this.
Thank you. It's been fun. And again, I get to meet people that I knew of. But a lot of times there's people I've never met that have actually filled out the form, and it's been a lot of fun.
I think I've finally listened to all of them now.
Okay.
I think I've gotten all of them, yeah. Was it Joshua?
Aguirre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How amazing is he?
Seriously. For how young he is?
Yeah.
Here in Lebanon County? I mean, I really think he'll be on the Olympic team. I really think he will. I mean, he's
got a good start, that's for sure.
Yeah, and how young he is. So,
how respectful.
Yes. Yeah. Because, I think I mentioned in that episode, I'm like, for the listeners, I didn't tell him to call me sir, but every time he was like, yes, sir, or well, sir. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I don't want people thinking I'm mean to like this young kid here. But yeah, I do truly believe everybody has a story. My goal is just to try to give people spotlight to share that, whether it's promote their business, their family, their history, whether they were veterans or whatever it is, nonprofits. I think Lebanon County needs something. I think there's a lot of great stories here, and I appreciate you coming on. I know it took a little while. I think I had to cancel on you a couple times, maybe, but
between the two of us, a kid apiece, and
right.
got some
we're busy.
Some things going on.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah. Nick Stickler, Realtor at Coldwell Banker Realty on the American Grown podcast and the Colortech Creative Solutions studios. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Austin. It's been great.
Great job. Yeah. To see photos of today's guests and more content, just search American Grown Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a review.
If you'd like to be a featured guest on the podcast, please direct message or email Austin at americangrownpod@gmail.com.